Absolutely phenomenal morning, guys. Absolutely phenomenal morning. I'm your host, Sean Wright East. Welcome to the Breakfast with the Brand. As always, I am flanked by the phenomenal Mr. Bobby Jackson. Listen, guys, I know what weekend it is. Let me just say that first. I'm well aware of what weekend it is, right? So if you're not here presently, hashtag replay squad. That's okay. Don't worry about it. But listen, for me, and I think this probably goes true for Bobby 1000% as well, business doesn't stop. Business doesn't stop. Business begins. Right. So I'm the kind of salesman. So I remember Brian Tracy. Let me just give you a story real quick. Les Brown always taught me never tell a story without a point and never make a point without telling a story. So here's the point. Business never ends. And here's the story. Brian Tracy tells a story about two salesmen on a rainy day. So the rain starts pouring. Salesman wakes up excited. Beautiful. It's raining outside. I don't have anyone to contend with. Most of the salesmen are going to stay at home.
Yeah.
The second salesman, well, I don't really have too much to say about him because he opens his eyes, see that it's raining outside, and he pulls the cover back over his head. One of them has a skinny child, though. And one of them has a very healthy child, robust, energetic, ready to go, and he's learning the lessons of leadership from his father and his father's perspective. Phenomenal morning, Bobby Jackson. How you doing, sir?
Doing phenomenal. It's been a morning. So I got up around, 2, 3, and been hitting it ever since. Had a wonderful call this morning that we broadcasted live. That was interesting, a symposium. Then I got my run in, and now I'm on this live. So I'm like, I'm gearing up, guys. I'm gearing up. So I'm feeling real good this morning. Real good.
Beautiful. Guys, listen, if you're out there, how are you feeling, right? Talk about it. Talk to us. Tell us how you're feeling. First, let me say this. Share this out. Sharing is caring. Sharing is also preparing. Sharing is also preparing. If you're not in the space right now where you're able to go live, able to feel confident, able to speak, able to sell, able to close, able to brand you, able to market, able to speak confidently and poignantly in your brand, in your own position, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Share it. Share it out. Put the energy in place. Put the intention in place. I guarantee you this. This is no hyperbole, no nonsense, not my opinion. This is proven. The more you do something, the more you do everything. And the more you do something, the better you get at it. So just share this out. I promise you, you're going to feel more confidently. Throughout the day, you'll be a person who shares information. Use your pens. Write this stuff down. And as people come across you, as you make your pathway in life on this day, December 23rd, 2023, when you come across people, share this information and you'll get a ton of recompense and a ton of wealth back. And wealth increases health. As a matter of fact, let me just say this before we go to a break real quick. You know something, Bobby? They used to use the word wealth for the word health.
Wow.
They used to use the word wealth for the word health. Why? You used to have to be wealthy in order to attain higher levels of health. You had to be able to pay for good food. You had to be able to pay for decent clothes in the winter. You had to have decent, clean water. Some places, guys, we live in a phenomenal country, but there are some places where if you don't have money, you don't have health. And I want you to just think about that. Okay, we live in a phenomenal country where there's clean running water, but are there still levels to health? And does wealth have anything to do to impact that? This is the Breakfast with the Brand, and we'll be right back. There's slow growth, and then there's scale. There's incremental growth, and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you You can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence, add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, guys. All right. So let's dig into it. Let's unpack it, right? Health equals wealth and wealth equals health. If you're more healthy, you're going to feel more phenomenally energetic, more magnetic, right? More magnetic, more disposed physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to bring in more economically. And then on the other side, if you're wealthy, then you can reinforce things that go along with your health. You can do more, you can be more, you can give more, you can help more. One of the things that I learned early on from very successful people, because I wanted to help everybody, right? I was one of those people. If you're a giver, if you're a servant leader, then you might suffer from this problem. So I want you to pay very close attention. I used to want to help everybody. And when I mean help them, I mean take food out of my own cupboards to give to them. Literally, take food out of my own cupboards and shelves to give to someone else. And I was not rich by no extent of the means. As a matter of fact, I may have been struggling at the time. But my heart was so big, it hurt me to see someone else with less or with lack. So I would go with what God had given me, abundance, because of my submission. And I would take and collect and leave out mine with the barest of essentials so that I could provide to others. And people who were very successful and, more further advanced than myself said, slow down, Sean. Slow down. Because watch this. If you give him food today, he'll be back tomorrow. He'll be back as soon as the food runs out. Because you haven't helped him. You haven't really helped him. As a matter of fact, you gave him a crutch. God trying to teach him something. God trying to teach him something. You know what he said to me? He said, haven't you been through something? Didn't you go through something real hard that taught you how to provide and how to do and the things that you had to do to be successful so that you would have abundance? I said, definitely. He said, well, God put them through that too. So they can learn and go through what they got to go through so that they can be abundant for them. Why are you trying to take your abundance and make them abundant? You're not God. You can't give them you can feed them for a day, but you stopping. And this is something my wife says. He said, you getting in between what God and them got going on. That's not your fight. Get up out of that. You're going to mess around and lose yours because you stopping them from really getting theirs. I said, oh my Lord. Bobby, it was a life lesson for me. I said, so well, if that's the case, then how do I help them? He said, you help them by becoming more successful and showing them all that is possible, to inspire and to motivate and to give them the example. And then if they ask, Don't give them, but tell them what they need to do so they can go get it for themselves.
You know, I was running this morning and that came to my mind. That came to my mind. I was thinking about my military experience as I was listening to a speaker in my headphones. So I'm running, and when I run, I like to listen to like get up and grind type motivational stuff. Like I want it to like David Goggins or something. Get out there, get after. Like I like to crush myself when I'm running. So I'm out and I'm running and I'm listening to it. And I felt the Marine Corps come over me. And I kept thinking about the results that I've been able to get while a part of the brand, you know, going from the first 400% to the second to the third. And what I realized was a lot of this has to do with my military hardships, my ability to listen to what the coach has to say with full faith and confidence. Now, again, I didn't do everything, but I did enough of the right things to get tremendous results. It was a little ironic. We were talking yesterday. It was like, man, Bobby, if you would have did everything, you probably would have hit 4,000 instead of 400. But you did good, brother. You did good. So I say that to say, what have you been through that has prepared you for what you got to go through? That's my question. You know, what have you been through that has prepared you to get through what you got to go through? Because everybody's got to pay the price for what they're trying to get. And I think I mentioned last week or sometime this week, I was reading something or listening, and the person said, people stop growing when they stop paying the price to grow. That's what he's like. People stop growing, and the price doesn't always have to be financial. Granted, it oftentimes is a combination of financial and, say, sacrifice and stuff like that. But that's one of the things he said. So one of the things I'll challenge you all with as the viewers this morning is, what are you willing to do? You know, what are you willing to do to be who you need to become? Because willingness, I think, is a word we don't talk about a lot. Like we talk about the grind, we talk about tenacity, we talk about discipline and mastery. All of those are very, very important, but willingness is a key component that we learn in the military. We call it instant willing obedience to all orders. That is the military definition of discipline. Because if you're not willing and obedient, then you might do the thing that you need to do without the right character and energy behind the action to get the results. So willingness is extremely important.
You know, that brings me back to something else that Brian Tracy said. If you guys don't know who Brian Tracy is, go check him. Go check him out. Like, for real, for real. He gave me the testimonial on the bottom of the book, and I was forever grateful, right? So he's one of those pioneers in business and business coaching. And one of the things he said you can make $5 if you take out the trash from McDonald's. Right? He said you can make $5 if you take the trash out in McDonald's. He said, but you can make $6 if you whistle while you do it. Which has everything to do with what Bobby just said. It's the character in which you do something. It's not just what you do. It's the character and the energy that you put behind it. It's not what you do. It's doing what you do in the right way. There's a specific way that we do things. And this is why, you know, Bobby, it astounds me how people still miss it sometimes. And they always come to me and they always say the same thing. And, you know, just ask yourself, guys, is this me? They say, I'm following the strategy. I'm following the script, coach. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me exactly what you're doing. He said, well, I be posting. You've done it yourself. I'm posting. I'm going live. How, though? With what intent? You see, now the reason I said this is because look at this. Stealth Wealth Symposium. And it was fire. Right? So the more you do anything is how it adds value to the way you do anything. Also, it adds value to the way that you do everything. So as Bobby, and we're going to use Bobby as an example because he's here, as he continues consistently, with consistency and intensity, to grind and to grow and to show up, his aura grows, his confidence grows, his energy grows. And as he gets better, everything he touches gets better. So when you do something once, twice, 3 times a lady, what is the energy when you don't get the result? Do you come the next day, or do you even, if you show up the next day, do you show up with better energy or the same energy, or does your energy drop? And a lot of times people will complain, no, coach, they just don't understand. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? We're going to take it right back to home base, right? Because I truly want you to be successful, so much so that it's okay if I make you uncomfortable. I don't want you to sit with the disease in your mouth, so I'm going to rip the tooth out. I care just that much. Not about how you feel immediately, but about how your health and wealth goes on later. We're moving into a new year. I can't play with you with kid gloves. I can't do it. I got to talk to you real talk. So that's exactly what we're going to do when we come back from the break. We're going to take the gloves off and we're going to have a real conversation about business, branding, sales, and how you can be successful in 2024. If you're ready for it, stick around. Share this out. If not, see you next year. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Sean Ra'is. I'm proud. Sean Ra'is. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. All right, guys. I told you I was going to give it to you raw. If you're still sticking around, get ready for it. How many people are you helping for free? How many people are you helping for free? Write it down. You don't have to share it. Just write it down. How many people are you consistently helping for free? Because I told you guys this, and Bobby remembers the story. They used to call me church. They used to call me church and coach. because every time I showed up to work, I wore a white shirt and a tie. Whether it was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Christmas, New Year's, Father's Day, I always showed up. I didn't take days off, and I showed up with a coach approach because I was finding myself. I was defining, finding, and refining myself. In order to do that, I had to put myself under the microscope, experiment, explore, and excavate little details about my own process. In order to do that, Bobby, I gave all services away for free. And when I say all services, I mean you could have been my supervisor, my direct report. You could have been under me, next to me, crossing me in the street. You were getting this coaching business. Oh, yeah. I was putting those coaching hands on you and bringing you to life. And if you didn't want the positive energy, you saw me coming and you ran away. I want to ask you, because everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants what it looks like, but nobody wants what it feels like. How many people are you helping daily for free?
Oh my goodness. This makes me laugh because I can now think in retrospect how that was me too. I was on the job and everybody knew me as the businessman or the finance guy. Like I'd be sitting the Marines down. All right, you got 4 years left in the Marine Corps. What are you doing? How you going to manage this thing? You getting out? You going to be in business for yourself? Hey, Lieutenant, come here, Lieutenant, because I'm a staff NCO, by the way. So he might be an officer, but he wet behind the ears. He'll been in like 2 years. Come here, sir. Come here, ma'am. Get over here. Let me help you out. And you know, it would get to the point where my commanding officer would be in a room and they would know who I am. Like they would know that guy's about to get out and be in business. So I think that's really ironic. Not even ironic. I think that's a clue. You know, they say success leaves clues. So I think the clue is bloom where you're planted. I like the way, I think his name is Walter D. Wallace or Wallace D. Waddles. I always mix his first and last name. But he says that the only way you can level up is by outgrowing the current level. He says the fastest way to scale yourself, or the fastest way to get where you're trying to go, is to provide so much life that your current habitat can no longer contain you. And like that's the way that I think Sean did it. That's the way I'm doing it. You know, I was just to the point where like the Marine Corps is like, this guy's got to go. Like we don't have anything for him.
Can't hold you anymore.
Yeah. So they had to let me go. And I mean, it was beautiful. It wasn't even bittersweet. It was like, see you. And they was like, see ya. I was like, I'm out of here. You know. So,
and now watch this, Bobby. One of the things that I'm gonna challenge you with is to go back and show them. Go back and show them so that you can help all of them who are getting ready to leave what success on the outside looks like, what success in the civilian life looks like after the military. But in order for you guys to be able to do the same thing, you got to outgrow where you're at first. You got to outgrow where you're at. People are like, well, Sean, I got a job and the money isn't there and I'm not going to be able to da-da-da-da-da. And whatever the case may be, that's your story. And I can remember when it was mine. But you know what I did? When it was mine and I didn't like it anymore, I changed it, Bobby. I changed it. When I had a story of empty hands, I changed it. I put something in those empty hands. I put something in those empty hands. And because I put something in empty hands, I get something to fill mine all the time. So are we still talking about sales, Sean? Definitely. Are we still talking about branding, Sean? Definitely. Are we still talking about marketing and serving and growing and being and becoming? Yes, we are. Are we talking about leadership? We never stopped. We've been talking about leadership from the very beginning. I want you to open your mind and think. Who am I helping? Who am I helping for free? Guys, the people that need your help that can't pay you are the greatest resource that you'll ever have. Why? Because you get to practice on them. You get to find out how good you really are. Your confidence grows. You know, your confidence will grow every time somebody comes back to you and says, LaWanna, I did what you said and it worked. LaWanna, thank you. I did what you said and it worked. Tia, you know what you told me to do? I went and did it. And it actually worked. Michelle, my business grew because of what you said. My relationship is better. My health is better. I feel so much better because of what you said. I actually did it. I applied it and it worked. Guys, if you're not helping anyone, if you're not, do what you love to do so much for free that you have to get a fee for it. You just don't understand this. I've had people donate to my charities who I gave value to for free. They said, hey, Sean, I just had to pay you. I just had to pay you. What you said, the conversation we had was so good. Where do you want me to send this money to?
Wow.
Where do you want me to send this money to? Where can I put this money? I got to give you some money. Where can I put it? And I would reroute it to the Leadership Elevation Foundation. Right? I want you to really think, because most people, when I speak to people, Bobby, they say they want time and they want money. They want time and they want money. But this is the thing. In order to get what you want, you got to give what you want. Huh? Oh, yes, this is transformational for real. The transformation that you're looking for is found in the transactions that you make. That's the science. That's the unspoken science. You got to give what you want. Most people want things, but in order for you to get those things, you got to give those things. So you got to invest money, and you got to invest time in order to get money and in order to get time. And Bobby talked about that yesterday when he was about the investments he made and the money that he made, and then the investments that he made coming down here, and the money that he made coming down here, and then the investments he made coming down here, and the money he made coming down here, and the investments that he made coming down here, and the investments that the money that he made coming up here. It's a transformational transaction. How many of you are having them?
Yes. Really quick, Coach, I want to put this in there. Like,
please do.
I was at the gym yesterday, guys. And y'all hear me talk about the 400% revenue growth a lot, because it's real and it's a powerful thing. But I was looking myself in the mirror and I said, 400% muscle growth, baby. I started screaming.
Yes.
I was in the mirror flexing, right? And I want to share that with you because the wealth is health piece, the branding piece, like you are the brand. So when I saw the ridge, the cuts, and I saw the shadows, like I was like, let's go. The brand equity is up. The brand equity is up. And when you feel good, you do good, and when you do good, you get better. It's like it's this cycle, that transfer. So I just want to throw that in there, Coach. Like I was in there.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna help you out a little bit. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do better.
Thank you.
Change your tide to match your desire. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do better. And that's physically as well as materially. It starts in the what they call it, the birthday suit. It starts there. Because you could put a suit on a monkey. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of monkeys running around in the jungle. But you could put a suit on a monkey, man. You can put a Rolex on a monkey. They say something about the swine, the pig, the pearl in the nose of a swan. That's the person who sounds good but isn't good. The person who wants to look the part but isn't doing the work or actually being the part. Guys, we're moving into another year, another chapter. 2023 will never come back again. It's over. This is the 23rd. You got a small amount of time to get this thing right. You got a real small amount of time to get this thing right. But you can do it. You can do it. And when we come back, I'm going to tell you exactly what you can do to begin. Let's grow. This is your Breakfast with the Brand.
Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Sean's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Sean is the bomb.
I don't talk theory. I don't talk hyperbole. I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Rais. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
I don't talk theory. I don't talk hyperbole. I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Rais. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
All right, first let me say that if you see something twice, it was intentional. If I play something twice, it was intentional because there's a message in there that you need to get. So this is my promise and guarantee to you. Every single call, we will provide you with everything that you need to make next year your best year ever. I promise you this. Every single call, you will find the information that will unlock your potential to greatness. Every single call. I will not highlight it though. I won't underline it. You'll have to go through this again and again and again to find it. But when you do and you implement it, game over. That's our guarantee. That's my promise. That's the Breakfast with the Brand's promise to you, that in every single call, you will find the key to unlocking your 1000% exponential potential. Okay, now, what is the first thing that you need to have? People ask me this all the time about it. They say, well, Sean, what's the first thing I need to do? What's the first thing I need to do? And I also hear this too. I don't have anything to sell. I don't have anything to sell though, Sean. You know, you talk about the 450K. Well, I don't have anything to sell. Bobby talks about 400% revenue increase, but I don't have anything to sell. What do I sell? I don't have a product. I don't have a tangible. Like I don't have the pen. I don't have the book. I don't have the program. And you know what the key to that is? You want me to unpack that real quick? All you need, the first thing that you need to be able to sell is your idea. Branded Like a Leader was an idea, guys. For those of you who went through it, you remember it. Why? Because now you're a part of it. When we did it organically. If you were to put each of those letters organically under a microscope, Branded Like a Leader was the example of organic multi-million-dollar program. Meaning, we did not do it prior to selling it. As a matter of fact, we sold it prior to doing it. Which means what? When I talk about 450K in less than 90 days, it all came from an idea. It was an idea. Bobby came in. He's one of the people that came in. He bought the idea. I didn't have the program. When he paid, I didn't say, here's the logins. When he paid, I said, okay, now hurry up and wait. Because I'm going to get back in the marketplace. I'm going to bring in a whole bunch of other people on this idea. During the time that you wait, I'm going to be giving you value and coaching you through the entire process of waiting. But you're going to have to wait. Because at this point, what you purchased is in the seed stage. It's in an idea stage. I don't have anything tangible. This is what I told everybody. I said, I don't have anything tangible. And what you're paying for is not done yet. It's called pre-selling. And what was being pre-sold to the tune of multiple six figures was what they call an MVP, a minimum viable product.
Man, I don't know if the people know what they just got.
Nah.
I have no idea.
Likely not.
Oh my goodness, guys.
If they did, they'd cancel Christmas.
It'd be over. It would be over. Like, wow. So real quick, ladies and gentlemen, money moves. That's what comes to mind. Money moves. And I don't mean the song, I don't mean the song. I mean money moving. When money moves through an economy, my coach taught me this. He says money follows movement, right? He said money follows movement. So maybe you didn't understand the whole MVP process. Maybe that went over your head. Maybe you didn't fully understand, how can I sell something that's just an idea? Okay, maybe you didn't understand that piece. So here is what I understood. Because when I was first starting out, I didn't understand none of that. I was like, what? Pre-selling? Huh? How? Didn't understand any of that. Here's what I did understand, though. I understood how to get into the marketplace and make moves. That's all I did. I started going live. And as I started going live, I was making movements. What else did I do? I hit the DMs. I was moving in and out of DMs. Hey, how can I help you? Hey, what you doing? Hey, you still in the Marines? Like, I was making moves. The next thing I did is I moved money out of my savings account and into my head. I was like, okay, I'm making moves. And then as that continued to happen, I started moving people's money out of their bank account into my bank account. And then money kept moving. So if you were at that stage like I was, and when I first started, I didn't have the degree. Like, I was making damn near six figures with no degree at the time. Like, just bringing it in. All I had was my experience, expertise, and education. And here's the thing. Everybody's got that to a degree. Like, if you've been around for a while, like if you're pushing 30 plus, you've got some experiences, you've probably got an education, and you've got some expertise. So, I mean, my advice, if I had any to give, would be get busy. Like, just get out there and make some moves.
Out there and sell your ideas. Of course, in order to sell an idea, you have to have an idea. You got to have an idea. And watch this. This is the best part, guys. The way you get validation in the marketplace is by selling the idea. The reason why your things don't work, if you've got courses and things of that nature and coaching programs that nobody's buying, you did it wrong. You tried to make the shoe before knowing the size. Please hear me closely. Put what I just said under a microscope, guys. You're a cobbler. And instead of taking someone's shoe measurement before you make the shoe, you try to guess the size and make a shoe that doesn't fit. What you've done is you tried to guess the need of your ideal client. So now you have a product that doesn't fit the market. I just want you to think about it. I just want you to think about it. See, I didn't make the shoe. I didn't make the shoe. I went into the marketplace and I sat my ideal client down and I put their foot inside of this measurement thing. You know the little measurement thingy that you see at the sneaker store? That's what I did. I went into the marketplace and I made moves. I had intentional and deliberate conversations that yielded fruit in real time. And I gained the rapport, the respect, and the necessary ingredients that gave me the pertinent components that had to be present inside of the minimum viable product. So when I went back into the lab, scientist that I am, when I went back into the lab, Bobby, I had leadership, branding, speaking, confidence. I had all of the ingredients that I needed to put inside of the MVP. So when I turned around and concocted it, which is brew, when I spun this thing around and I began to spin the yarn, right now I got my little needles and I'm doing the yarn spinning and I'm weaving together the fabric and the tapestry of the marketing message. Wow. I really should be charging for this shit now.
You should. No, okay. More for free than you get for it.
I really should just cancel this whole thing and stop doing the breakfast with the brand because, well, no, this is why we call it $1 billion brand. Because if you implement what we're talking about, you can add zeros and zeros and zeros and zeros and zeros and zeros and zeros. And if you think not, look at Bobby. Look at the zeros and zeros and zeros and zeros and zeros and zeros and zeros. Anyway, I sat at the yarn table and I'm weaving the messages, the minerals, the diamonds that I was provided during my research. And I gave a test called an A and B split test. I gave tests back to the market to see if it resonated, if I was right. I had a hypothesis. And I said, I wonder if it's validated, if I can validate the hypothesis. So I put it in the marketplace and I said, hey guys, listen, I'm going to help you figure out this, this, and this. What do you think? And lo and behold, it started raining. Lo and behold, I found myself in a deluge, in a rainstorm. And I couldn't get buckets fast enough to collect the rain. This is where the team came from. I had to call in the battalion and say, bring buckets.
Yeah.
Because it's raining. It's a snowstorm. It's really like coming down fast. It's too fast for me to catch. I can't catch it in time. And the people came and they brought the buckets and we filled the buckets. And once we got to what I call a critical mass of validation, your critical mass will probably likely be very different than mine. You understand? Does everybody understand? Put it in the comments if you understand what I'm talking about. So I'm using analogies and I'm using symbolism. Because if I spoke so plain, it would be almost painful to hear. It would be unbelievable to hear. So I want to know if you can understand the analogy and the parables and the pictures that I'm painting with my words. I think you can. If you can, what I'm telling you is that you have at this point everything that it takes to duplicate the process.
You know, as I sit and I think about what the first year was like for me, and then the second year and the third, like when I think about the first year, branded like a leader, I remember a sentence Sean gave me. He finished the call and he said, "What did you all learn? What was your feedback?" He was getting feedback. And I took out my notepad and I started rattling off all the things that I had taken notes on. And his response to me was, "That's phenomenal, Bobby. That's good work. Good work. If you just implement 10% of what you've written down on that sheet of paper, you'll make money this year." With that, I had all the confidence I needed in the world. I took that sheet of paper. I tried to implement everything on that thing. And I didn't implement everything on there. But I tell you what, I got paid. I got money. I got compensated for the work that I had done. And it's because I took what I could understand and I implemented that. So the first statement that I will say to you is keep coming. Even if you don't get it, even if it's over your head, write down what you do understand and implement that. Like if the only thing you could take away from this was MVP, that's all you know, write the acronym, minimum viable product, go research it. Take what you got and go make the most of that. There's a parable called the parable of the talents. And in this parable, there is a master and he's got 3 bondservants. The master is about to go on a trip. He gives each of the bondservants a piece of silver according to their aptitudes. So one servant, he gives 1 pillar of, say, 1 token. To the second servant, he gives 2 tokens. To the third servant, he gives 3 tokens. The one servant that he gives the 1 token to buries the token in the ground. Knowing that his master is a harsh man who is not very forgiving, he wanted to put that coin in the ground so that when the master came back, it'd still be there. The master gave the second person 2 tokens, and that person took the money and put it in a bank because he reasoned that if the master came back and at least the money he had been holding on to was earning interest, he could give the master back more than the master gave him. He thought that'd be a pretty good idea. Then the master gave the 3 coins to the third servant, and that one went out and made investments. He got, say, 10 times as much as the person that put the money in the bank. Master comes back. Master comes back and talks to each of the servants in accordance to the amount of money he gave them. First servant, he says, "Hey, what you do with the coin?" Guys, to connect this for you, the coin is the information you're receiving. So the more you've been around business, the more years you have, the more you've picked up, the more you've absorbed today. So if you've got the 3 talents, if you've got, say, X amount of years in business, what you've received today is probably more actionable information than the novice because they don't have the same experience. So what's really happening is according to your experience and aptitudes, ye are responsible for thy execution. But back to the story. So the master comes back and he talks to the 1 servant and says, "Hey, what did you do with your 1 talent, with your 1 coin token I gave you?" He says, "I buried it in the ground. I knew that you were a harsh master and I wanted to make sure I didn't lose it." Master, for lack of better terms, smacks the guy, tells him to get back to work, you lazy, worthless servant. Like, how dare you? Not their words, not mine, their words, right? And he's like, how dare you? if we bring it to this analogy, if you get the information and you don't take action on it and you complain about your situation and you come back day after day after day, week after week after week, call after call after call, and you're not progressing because you're burying the information in your head instead of writing it out and taking action on it, putting it in the bank, putting it into investments, actionalizing, if that's a word, the token you're given, like life's gonna smack you up and be like, yo, get out of here. Now, if you're the second person, you got busy. You went out there and you took the information and you put it in the bank. That's like taking copious notes, and with the notes that you have, taking some action and coming back to the call the next day and putting it in the chat. Breakfast with the brand. My name is, I took action on X and these were my results. Thank you. You do that every day.
That's all we ask.
That's all we ask. If you do that every day, I guarantee you'll get results. Like literally, like the brand goes live Monday through Saturday. If you took action Monday through Saturday and every day you made it a point to implement something, by the end of every week, it's no way you'll be in the same place as you start. No way. And then you've got the third guy. You make $10,000 off of a free call. I've seen it done. That was my piece though. Like, just implement it. Don't take it for granted. Like, it's real value. And yeah.
Hey guys, listen, we're proving to you that we want you to be successful. I'm proving to you that I want you to be successful. As a matter of fact, I would wager that there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff you could pay for in just a short amount of time. As a matter of fact, I think it's followed us ever since Black Friday. So all you have to do is take your phone and open it up. And there's going to be Black Fridays, bonanzas, and then Cyber Mondays, mania. And then Christmases, coal. And what do they call them? The socks?
Mm-hmm.
What are the socks? Stockings.
Yep.
Stocking sales, right? And then New Year's, whatever they call it. And there's going to be a fee for access. And prices are going to drop. And people are going to stack stuff in the bundle to give you in the stocking and try to give you while they take. And what the goal of the Breakfast with the Brand is to give you more for free than you get for a fee. It's called selfless servant leadership. Selfless servant leadership. I don't just say I want you to be successful. I show you I want you to be successful. And just like Bobby said, you cannot. It is impossible to take action on what you learn here and not be successful. So if your state in your business and your life isn't changing, it's simply because you're not taking action. That's it. There's no other way. Take action. Actionalizing, as Bobby said, or making actionable this information is like going and sitting on California beach without catching a suntan. It'll never happen. I guarantee it. The face of the brand guarantees it. That if you weaponize this information and you apply it in the marketplace, you'll make money before the end of this year. That's right. You heard me correctly. In the next few days, you can literally make as much as you made the entire year. But who's going to do it? That's the question. Who's going to do more in the last week of the year than they did for the entire year? This is the Breakfast with the Brand. Next week will be the very last Breakfast with the Brand in 2023. What will you have to show for the entire year of the Breakfast with the Brand? Because we've been consistently pouring into you. I'd like to know what you've gotten out of it. Bring your reports back next week and let me know what you received. Let's grow.